What's going on, guys? It's Rest, and I figured it's time to update our Ice Queen Amara build for Mayhem 10. This build is going to allow you to freeze everything on the screen due to the amount of status effect chance that we're going to have, plus some of the new anointments in the game. And one of those new anointments is on active skill start, activate any effects that triggers on shield, break, or fill. This one anoint has completely changed some of the builds up, and it has made some shields that weren't ever really usable now. But if you'd like to learn about all that, be sure to stick around at the end of the video because we're going to be going over everything. Now, as always, this build is located in my Discord channel if you would like to download it. Link for the Discord will be in the description. So if you download the build, enjoy the video, or find it helpful in any way, remember to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out and I truly appreciate it. But with all that being said, let's get right into the build. So as you can see, all the icons have cryo around them, and that's because this is the Ice Queen Amara build. Now, with that being said, we will be doing some other damage, which will be shock damage, and that is like things on our clairvoyance right here. We have an anoint where we have axe skilling, we get the next two magazines, deal 50% bonus shock damage. Now, the clairvoyance is actually still pretty good, even after the Mayhem 2.0 update. I imagine if they rescale all the old legendary weapons, this is going to be insanely good. But as of right now, this thing still performs pretty well, especially with some of our gear. So this is going to allow you to just freeze enemies, and it's super fun to use. I know it's some people's favorite weapon in the game. Next, we have a new weapon, the Monarch right here, where our consecutive hits increase weapon damage by 1%, and if we miss, we remove all the bonuses. Now, it's really easy to stack this anoint up because this gun shoots insanely quick, and with this shooting insanely quick, we're also going to be able to freeze enemies insanely quick as well. So this has 110% cryo efficiency, which is getting buffed by some of our skills, and our items. This alone lets you just freeze an enemy, and you can just go to town on them and you just absolutely melt them. Then next, I have a lob right here. We're on axe gun, we get 50% bonus shock damage, just like the clairvoyance. But if you don't know, the lob is really good. It's not as good as it once was due to the Mayhem 2.0 update, but it still can perform pretty well, and it can straight up just destroy tankier enemies, and pretty much 1 to 2 lob shots freezes anything you shoot at, any form of enemy. They're going to get froze. Then we have a Sandhawk right here. Now, obviously, we all know the Sandhawk is really good, but now this one, we actually do an axe gun, we get 75% bonus radiation damage, which kind of sucks. But this is a cryo Sandhawk, and it can straight up freeze enemies like crazy, kill enemies like crazy, and we all know the Sandhawk is disgusting. Now, for the main gun I use for this build is the Monarch and the Clairvoyance. They're super fun, some of the most fun weapons in the game to use, and it pairs really well with our class mod right here, where we get 31% more axe cooldown rate, which is really good for this build, 45% Jacob's weapon critical hit damage, which is really good for obviously the clairvoyance, and then 15% volatile fire rate, which is really good for the Monarch because it already shoots stupid quick. Now you shoot even faster to help proc that anoint even more. Then we're using an Icebreaker Victory Rush right here, where we have 53% bonus cryo efficiency and 40% bonus damage to whatever target is frozen. And we have the Victory Rush, where we get 18% movement speed damage whenever we kill a tankier enemy. Now, this one is also giving us 20% assault rifle damage, 2,719 max health, and 20% shock damage. Obviously, shock damage is really good, like the clairvoyance. Plus, being able to freeze enemies a lot to do more damage to them. It's going to help out with the Monarch really well because obviously you're freezing targets, you're getting more damage. The anoint is proccing, you're getting more damage. And then on top of that, the artifact is also giving you 20% more assault rifle damage, which both of these are assault rifles, so you get more damage. Very fun. These two combined together with these two absolutely shred everything, and it is super fun. Now, if you want to use something like the Pearl of Knowledge, which I'm including, because this might be a little overkill with freezing targets, I just like to play around the theme of the build. But I'm also including the Pearl of Knowledge, which is going to be 12% more fire rate, 50% more magazine styles. That's going to help out a lot with something like the Monarch right here, and you can just straight up destroy enemies with that too. Either one you want to use is fine though. Whichever your preferred playstyle is, go for it. And then I have an It's Piss Grenade right here, or on axe gun, get 50% bonus cryo damage, adding even more cryo damage to all of these guns up here, and it is super fun. Now, I saved the best for last, and that is because I'm using a snowshoe right here with the anoint I talked about in the beginning of the video. On axe gun start, activate any effects that trigger on shield, break, or fill. So essentially, what this is going to do, as you see, it says sliding into enemies drains all shields and deals up to 10,874 damage bonus cryo damage based on the current shield's strength. And then 30% of that Nova is also returned its health. So this, every time you use your phase grasp, it says it's actual star. It's not the end of it. So when you phase grasp an enemy, you're gonna release this huge cryo nova that does an insane amount of damage and also heals you. Now, since it's doing a lot of damage, that one nova with all your other skills and something like the Icebreaker, you can pretty much freeze everything around you. Just phase grasp enemy, everything's froze, everything's locked together with ties that bind, and you just destroy everything. Like, it is super fun. This is one of my new favorite anoints in the game. It is insanely fun to, like, the interactions you have with all these different types of shields, and it's really good on a build like this. So like I said, you phase grasp enemy, you're gonna freeze everything, which is gonna stop people shooting you. That Nova is also healing you, so the survivability is insane, the crowd control is insane, and it is super fun. Now getting into the skills, we're gonna be on a mystical assault first. We're putting 5 points to do harm, since we're gonna be using ties that bind, and we're gonna be running soul sap with that. This is essentially gonna let us have a lot more damage to all the chain targets, and since everything's gonna be froze, we're getting healed from that. Plus, if we kill all the enemies that are chained, they're also going to heal us. So, like I said, the survivability of this build is insane, and it's going to get even more dumb later on into the build. But we're also putting 5 points of Violent Tapestry, so we have our status effect chance to be buffed by a lot based on the rush stacks we have. And then obviously with Phase Zerker, we always have max rush stacks, so we can freeze everything insanely quick. And on top of that, we have the Icebreaker right here as well to buff that even more. But then I have 3 points of Fast Hands, just a generally good skill for more to have. More of those speed, more weapon swap speed. And most of the speed is really good for something like the Monarch, because you can just open it up, spray an enemy down since you can double damage, shut it back, move, open up, you know, just and it's a constant chain. But now, as I will say something about the Monarch really quick, it works really well to have the Victory Rush because you get more movement speed, and then we have a Mayhem modifier with Speed Demon, so every time you kill an enemy, you get more movement speed. So even if you're in bipod form, you can move pretty quick with the Monarch, and it's very fun. But then add 3 points to Transcend. Whenever you use an axe, you're going to get more accuracy, more critical hit damage. Very good, since you're going to be freezing all your enemies. You want to be able to do critical hit damage a lot, so you could, because they're not moving, so you can easily hit it and you do a lot of damage. Now I have 2 points on Alacrity because I had to get down to the bottom, but this is going to buff your low speed based on the rush stats you have. Pretty good skill to have. It's not insanely good, but you know, it's nice to have. Then 1 point Ascendant, so we can buff our Soul Sap to get even more health to make our survivability even more stupid. Then 3 points of Wrath, so we get 20% more damage and 20% more after we pop our active skill. Then also 3 points in Awakening, so we can buff our Rush stack effectiveness, so we're getting even more status effect chains, even more active skill damage. Then 1 point in Avatar, so we can use active skill twice for cooldown, and we also get 10 bonus Rush stacks. The bonus Rush stacks is effectively going to help us have more status effect chance, more axe skill damage, and since we can pop axe skill twice for cooldown, that means we have 2 snowshoe procs. So there's a huge group of enemies, you can phase grasp, get close to them, and they're all froze. It is so fun, and it is absolutely disgusting. Then I have 5 points in Anima right here, so our status effect damage and duration is increased. So this is going to make our targets be froze longer. We don't even need this because we're going to be killing them insanely quick anyway, but if it's a tanker enemy that just doesn't want to die, this is going to help out and they can be stuck in place for a little longer. Then 3 points steady hands, so we have more handling and accuracy, which is generally a very good skill for Amara to take if you're trying to get down to the bottom. And I have 2 points in infusion right here because I also had to get down to the bottom, but this is essentially going to let us do a little shock damage. So this right here, plus on top of our anoints, we're also going to be doing cryo shock. They blend together pretty well, and obviously shock's going to help take out shields. Then Tempest right here is giving us 30% more elemental damage and 20% more shock damage. So more cryo damage, more shock damage, really good. Then 1 point Dread, so we get 50% more damage every time we phase grasp a target, and when we kill an enemy, the guns reload it. So this is really good on the Monarch because you can just spray a whole clip into somebody, and when you kill that phase grasp target, your gun's going to be reloaded. You can just keep spraying. Now 1 point Deep Wall, so we can buff our magazine size by 20%. Also, again, very good for the Monarch because we're getting more magazine size, and also very good for just all the other weapons too. The 3 points indiscriminate, so all bullets can ricochet. Your bullets can ricochet, start to freeze other targets. Now again, is also very good for something like the Monarch, since you're spraying a ton of bullets. All your bullets are going to be ricocheting, starting to freeze other targets. And then you can just freeze everything in the battlefield. As you can start to see how this is just disgusting, the amount of just freezing going around. That's why it's the Ice Queen Amara build. Now we have 5 points of sustainment. It's going to help out with your survivability. Essentially, it's making whatever your elemental gun damage you're doing, you can 20% that back as life. All your guns are elemental damage, and on top of everything I already said about survivability, this is just adding more. Literally, you're getting just health now every single time you shoot an enemy, and when you're shooting something like the Monarch, you just straight up heal constantly because the amount of damage you're doing is insane. Plus, you're just shooting really quick. But then I have 1 point Forceful Expression. So whatever damage you're doing, we're getting 18% bonus of shock damage, which again is going to help out take out shields and anything of that nature. Then 3 points of Personal Space. So the closer we are to an enemy, we're getting a bonus 36% damage. Now we're always going to be close to an enemy because the main goal of this build, the playstyle, is like I said, run at an enemy, phase grasp, freeze everything around you, and use the Monarch to just straight up destroy all the frozen targets. Like, this is a very run and gun build. You get up close and personal, and then you phase grasp and straight up kill everybody. Now, a cool thing I will say with Snowshoe really quick, obviously the anoint's really good, but if your shield does manage to come off, that also is going to release a Cryo Nova, which your shield rarely ever manages to come off. But if it does, you're also going to release a Nova, and I've had some certain moments where I use the axe to release a Nova, then my shield will go down, and then I'll release another Nova, and it's super fun and super effective. So that is the Ice Queen Amara build. Like I said, if you just want to freeze every single thing in the game, this is a super fun build for you. And if you want to play run and gun style build that's super tanky, this is also the build for you. Being able to just run up to enemies, freeze everything, they can't shoot you when you freeze them, plus getting healed from the Snowshoe, sustainment, soul sap, everything is healing you. You have a lot of health and you just cannot die. It is super tanky. And you also get to use fun weapons like the Clairvoyance. Like I said, I know the Clairvoyance is a lot of people's favorite weapon. It's also one of my favorite weapons. It's super fun to use and it's super versatile. It's really good for a lot of things. But then also things like the Monarch, it's just absolutely fun as well. Being able to just run around and just shred unmovable targets is something really fun about it. Then you also have things like the Sandhog and the Lob to do an insane amount of damage in a short time. So this is another one of my favorite Amara builds. I love Ice Queen Amara so much. Being able to just freeze everything so easily and effortlessly, it's just something special about it. But that is the build. Like I said in the beginning of the video, it is located in my Discord channel if you like download it. The link for the Discord will be in the description. If you download the build, enjoyed the video, or find it helpful in any way, remember to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out and I truly appreciate it. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.